Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Continuing with our adventures in this game today. I know I have other games on the schedule for eventually. We're gonna do other games. We're not just gonna do Final Fantasy, although it's fun. But I didn't get to play yesterday. Actually, yesterday I think was the day I had scheduled for something else. But I have been informed by numerous people that this guy right here, yes, this guy right here has a quest that is entertaining and should be done on stream. So we're gonna do it. See what all the fuss is about. Before we get started, I don't think there's anything that I need to go over. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there is, and there's nothing that I can think of. My schedule is going to be changing starting next week, but I still haven't ironed out the details on that. I would keep an eye on Discord, Twitch, or Discord, Twitter. Many T names. Discord, Twitter, and here on Twitch to get the most up-to-date information on that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started in here and see what the rise and fall of gentlemen is all about. Apparently we get a phoenix down from it, too. Old acquaintance of Wimmond is at wit's end, and the businessman would have you help her. You've been busy as a bee, Kira. Seems half the whispers that come my way relate to your comings and goings. Being the active type you are, I reckon you'd be interested in investigating some queer rumors, am I right? But before that, let me ask, ever heard of a man named Hildebrand? Have I heard of Hildebrand before? Yes, kind of. I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about them. So, no. To hear him tell it, he was Azoria's greatest and most famous inspector. Still can't say I'm surprised you don't know him. To his credit, Hildebrand and his assistant had a knack for showing up when something shady was afoot. As for sussing out the culprits, well, he had his moments, though I hesitate to give him sole credit. What is he like? Azoria's Sherlock? Any road, 5 years ago, he gets it in his head that he's cracked the code of Messiah's 7th verse, Dalaman, the Calamity, all of it can be stopped, he says, so long as he finds the hero of prophecy. Once you know it, the hero is Hildebrand himself. So he's Nicolas Cage's character from National Treasure. Da Vinci Code? One guy from Da Vinci Code? Flies off towards Dalaman. That's right, he flew. Launches himself straight into the air somehow, ridiculous as it sounds. Of course, it's only logical that he got to come back down, but it was only recently that we found his body. He just launched himself up at the moon. Had a reason for bringing this up. Alright, so Nashu, Hildebrand's erstwhile assistant, has since become an inspector in her own right. At present, she's investigating the queer rumors I mentioned earlier. She's a sweet lass, a bit daft, but sweet nonetheless, so when I hear she's at wit's end, I want to help. Thing is, I prefer not to meddle in the affairs of living. Zombies are most definitely not my forte. Hey, thank you for the follow. Yes, Kay, you have woken up just in time. And it is a snow fox. No snow around these days, but we're here. Or was I right? So if you were willing, I'd be grateful if you lent her a hand. As for where to find her, she's like to visit Hildebrand's grave in the Lich Yard when she's frustrated. Try looking for her there first. This is... okay, the one by Drybone. This is like the only one in the whole frickin' place, because every time they're like, hey, we need a graveyard, it's go over here. Alrighty. Imagine if you had a title card like that for your house. Alright, somebody comes in your house and they get to see a title card. Imagine people would be like, the fuck is this shit? Ah, here you have a zombie problem. If only you were still alive, Inspector, you'd know how to stop these zombies. I find hitting them generally does. Your house has a title card and its own theme music. Oh, that's even better. But is it a title card or a title card? Hildebrand quest. Yes. I was told I needed to do these on stream, so we're doing the first one right now. Ah, you there. Could it be? You come to offer your services to me. Well, not that kind of service. Oh, but where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. Ahem. My name is Nashu, Agent of Inquiries, Extraordinary Inspector. Joy, these are so much fun. That's what everybody keeps saying. This is what I'm trying to be. It's not quite as easy as he made it look. Inspector Hildebrand was a great man, a real Azorian hero. Traveled the world, me and him, solving cases and thwarting evil. No matter the mystery, you could always count on the inspector to solve it with grace and style. You know, the more these people talk about him, the more I'm getting Inspector Gadget vibes from this whole thing. Why are we? But then there was the final case, the case of the century, he called it. How to stop the Red Moon from destroying the world. I mean, he succeeded. The world's still here. To save us all, he flew into the sky, and all I could do was watch. Then he came back down, and he, I guess, hit the ground. Oh God, we're getting a vision about it. This is all a joke, a big funny joke, right, Inspector? Any moment now, you'll burst out of the ground and shout, "Surprise, had you fooled," and we'll laugh and laugh. This guy has just been old forever. Hildebrand Matterville, beloved son. They say no one remembers the Warriors of Light, their names, their faces, all gone forever. But I remember you, Inspector, no gentleman hero Hildebrand. Alright, so far this isn't funny, this is just kind of sad. You'll never be the hero you were, but I'll do my best to try. Launches herself up in the air. Oh, you're just getting changed right on your mentor's grave. Inspector Extraordinaire will carry on your legacy. So I told myself, well, Nashu, there must be a leader, a head zombie, who tells the rest what to do. Therefore, all we need to do is kill him again. Kill him. Again, that is. Unfortunately, I don't know where he is or how to find him, but now that you're here, my faithful assistant, you can try the one good idea I've come up with so far. If you were to go where these dapper zombies were last seen in southern Thanalan, you might find them, and then you could become their friend and ask to meet their leader. Yes, I'm sure that's sure to work. Okay, now we're in Shaun of the Dead. Participate in the fate, fallen corpses writhe in style. Really? I hate fates. So dumb. Zombies are friends, not fiends. Yeah, don't tell that to my character tomorrow. She likes to explode zombies. D&D game, weekly D&D game. Well, it's Pathfinder, but same thing. I play a Oracle. And yeah, he just explodes on. Fun. Oh look, zombies. Channel energy. All of them die. This up here where I can actually... Flying unicorn! Woohoo! I love how you get like the sparkle trail too off the unicorn when it's flying. I know, I'm not trying to fly higher. It was supposed to be somewhere over here. There's nothing here. Oh, wait, it's a fate, so you gotta wait for it to pop up? I don't actually know how fates work, because I think I've only ever done, like, one. And then I decided they were dumb and... or to ignore the rest of them. Spawns kind of randomly. Okay. Well, then while we're waiting for that... Oh. Huh. No. While we're waiting for that, we can do... Yes. Because it's still insta-pops. And we get pasta. It can be done with a good source of Grand Company seals. Gets you companion XP easier. What do you mean companion? Have you ever checks that? Kill him, huh? Chocobo can fight with you. Oh, that's what you mean? Oh yeah, I did that whole quest line, and then I forgot about it. See, we want green. Took me a long time to figure out that that note right there is what tells you to what you're supposed to do. In the dude, don't run away from me, you're gonna die. I think you're supposed to pull Batty away from the squishy healer. Well, yeah, but also don't, like, run around the corner and down the hill. I've had lots of tanks just straight up die because they want to run away from me. They get too far, you know, they're low on health. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start healing. And then they don't stop and they get out of range. Part of the problem is that this dungeon is kind of easy, especially once you get really good gear. A lot of people don't take it seriously. invulnerable clams. I suppose I shouldn't be complaining. We could very easily have gotten a, you know, trial. Like 10 seconds and get us no XP. You attack me. Attack me. Attack this guy. I hide in bushes, you no find me. Trials on leveling roulette make no sense. Yeah, exactly. Like you could put like, or they have their own category, don't they? Like why put them in with the rest of the leveling stuff? I guess they probably put them in there because they wanted to make sure that there were actually players available to help. Because otherwise nobody would ever voluntarily do the trials. What? Oh. Apparently he's colorblind. Yeah, I said green, and he goes over and hits the blue one. Ooh, I like that outfit. Wearing. An antiquated duelist tabard. Red mage. Cool. Red mage, they have fancy dresses. Okay, now I really want to get red mage. So far, my favorite gear sets are the Foe Striker and the Battle Mage. How did you find this place? You just followed the tunnel. Straight line from there to here. That is what what he thinks, but then he gets to a point and he's just like, nah, it's cool. Yeah, where are me men? Where are me maidens? Maidens. And then he runs. You're just gonna keep going, huh? I finally figured out how to use focus target. It was just bound to something really dumb. Tanks pulled everything in the room, wasn't confident when we ran in. Yeah, that's what I've noticed too. It really depends on your healer. If you've got a healer who's paying attention and can keep health, then it's fine. But especially with new healers who aren't quite sure what they're doing yet, then you don't really want to do it. Or you get the ones that think that they're just DPS and want to just kill stuff. Not quite as bad in this as it was in WoW. This being the literal first dungeon, it's easy not to know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame them. Fine. You gotta learn somewhere. But after having done this for so long, like, he should actually be pulling them over here so he can grab these dogs when they get let out. Looking at his armor, seems about equivalent level, so he might not know. Yeah, you can also tell because he doesn't have the what is it, Paladin soul. I think actually just me and the red mage are the only ones that are post whatever. Arcanist doesn't have any soul crystal either. It's all good. But that's why we focus target the tank. That way I have a button that'll let me just target him. Yeah, there you go. And we win. Good job. Wow. I don't think I can move. Can I got all three. That's okay. Cool. Think your fate popped? I think it came and went because there's nothing here now. Although there's somebody else down here waiting too. Check how often it happens. There might be a trigger or something somewhere too. Oh. Ouch. Oh good, I got a plundered cane. Gonna be really helpful. I do find it strange how sometimes you will just get stuff from dungeons. Like you will just guaranteed get. It seems like it's usually a weapon. And then other times you won't. And it's very odd. Yeah, it has its own trials category. Oh, but these are the full-sized ones. Where you have 8 players. So I guess it wouldn't include these low-level ones. I think it would start here would be the first one. Right? No, that's a small one too. Yeah, it would start here. Huh. I don't know. I still think that they should just be included. They shouldn't be included in the leveling. Or you should get more XP for doing them. Like one of the two. Oh, I wanted to sit on the rock. Yeah. Alright, well, while we wait, I'm gonna go use the restroom. I will be right back. Things here that's saying people waited as long as 2 hours for this one to pop. Seriously? That is kind of garbage. Hold on, isn't there a... I thought that said reality check. No. That. There's a way that you can, like, specifically look for certain things. Is it this one? No, that's for NPCs. Ah, it's this one. Someone said you can sometimes trigger it by killing the flame towers, but I'm not sure that's an actual thing. Yeah, I mean, it's worth trying. It's not a damaging spell. That had a fun little explosion that it did. Unless they mean all of them, which there's a lot of them around here. This over here. Hmm. I've been over here a few times. Probably just a rumor. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with it. Yeah, see, now the beacon is respawned now anyway. Sometimes they do. Nope. What's a rumor? A rumor is lies that people tell you, try to convince you of something. All right. Duty, fate, southern. Oh, it just procced. Band of zombies exhibiting uninterested. I mean, I guess we still just kill them. Yeah, we're trying to get to this fate for the quest. And there was a rumor that said that you killed the flame towers. but we're pretty sure that was lies. Do not disturb our practice. I like how they spawn in and bow. Hilarious. Killing the one flame beacon totally worked. Killing it and waiting for it to respawn. That was the trick. Bird is quite the dangerous looking hat. You are neither gentleman nor zombie. Now he's flexing at me. What are these poses? More zombies? More zombies. Some of you guys just have like 20 minutes of posing that you do before you actually attack. What? What? The cat has come to say hello. Bark at the cat. Bark. Such a cat. It's less kill this particular thing and more the more player server interaction there is in a particular area, the more fate spawn in general. Really? Huh. I guess that kind of makes sense, because you wouldn't want to just spawn fates in places where players aren't doing things. That's just a waste of everyone's time. You're interrupting me while I'm playing my game. You realize this, right? He doesn't care. I never really had a cat before. He's my first cat. Grew up with dogs. I like him. I like this cat at least. I like this cat. You need your nails trimmed. I feel you poking my arm. He's just in full-on vibrate mode. All right, you're just gonna happily be here forever, but I got things that I gotta do. Okay, you're done. I'm just gonna go back to doing whatever cats do. Whatever it is that cats do. Okay, I am going. Lies. Like quite a bit higher. I do have to say it, but this area really reminds me of the Barrens from WoW. Chad isn't quite as entertaining, but right. So we found zombies, and they were bowing and proclaiming themselves to be gentlemen. It was weird. Did you find the zombies? You did. That's wonderful. I've been busy too. The head zombie will rue the day he meets me. You'll see. So tell me, what did you learn? I learned that zombies can be killed if you hit them with rocks. Oh, so you weren't able to make new friends. That's a shame. But this parchment, this is a map of the Sangoli Desert. There's a spot marked here in the south, and look, there's something written here. The gentleman is rather than does. Said that. Sort of reminds me of, well, no matter. Let's see where this map takes us. Assistant, onward to the Sangoli. Any rocky desert would remind me of the Barrens. Well, yeah, but there's a certain amount of greenery that happens as well. Also being long and thin north-south. You know, because this has the same kind of, where it's, you know, fairly long, not terribly wide. But yeah, really, it's chat. Baron's chat was always something to experience. I actually knew people who would just make a character, like they were like primarily Alliance players, but they would make a Horde character and then just take them to the Barrens and park them in a town, just so they could participate. Have we really all been going for almost an hour? I don't feel like it. Okay. Oh yeah, look at all the fates that are here now. That one's back. Ender Stormwind, because that was also an interesting chat, but definitely not in the same way. Oh, you mean the town, right? Like the little minor town on the way to Stormwind? I think I know what you're talking about. That was very, 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 at least on the server I played on, that was very intense RP. I guess Rodney's also doing this quest. I don't think I misread the map. Maybe they're just shy, though I say we call out to them and let them know we come in peace, and when the leader shows himself, we strike. Show yourselves, foul fiends. Alright, well, it's obviously got to be this. Who summons the gentle dead men? They live, they live. We hunger. Yep, it's Shaun of the Dead. My brothers, lend me your ears. A gentleman does not dine upon his guests. What on earth are you doing up there? Spare these two fair ladies your mastications. Withdraw, I say, and harass them no more. Up in the sky. It's a bird. No, it's an airship. No, it's the inspector. Who apparently thinks he's a zombie now. Graceful. Really is you. It is you. It really is you. I knew nothing could kill the great Inspector Hildebrand. Hildebrand? Who is this Hildebrand of whom you speak? My name is Zombie Brand, Devourer of Brains, Undead Overlord Extraordinaire, and Master of Multiple Poses. What are you saying? You're not an Undead Overlord. You're a Gentleman Inspector. Inspector Overlord. Inspector Overlord. Does not compute. What? On Earth? And confused is all. Don't worry, I'll knock some sense back into that noggin of yours. With giant cherry bombs? Where were you keeping those? Even if I were the esteemed gentleman you purport me to be, the concussive force of the blast is more like to liquefy my... If crashing to the ground made you forget, then an explosion of equal force ought to make you remember. I'll save you or kill you trying. This is not how medicine works. See, even you acknowledge the possibility that this plan will result in my... You should forget he got here from being launched from a cannon. Yo, yeah, no. We saw that. This is like an episode of Trigun. I like how his name keeps changing too. Normally I would applaud your ingenuity, Nashu, but I would have preferred that you found a more elegant solution. Well, she knows his name. Or he knows her name. He remembers me. Inspector Hildebrand remembers me. Yes, I remember you, my faithful assistant. What I do not quite remember is how I came to be here. Well, we're gonna have a video of it, so just wait. Trigun has some serious moments. Spoiler, this does not. Trigun also has some incredibly off-the-wall, goofy moments. Vash does not take anything seriously. Even the serious moments. Night of the Living Dead. It was such a wonderful dream. I slew a dragon and... flower on his head. What is this place? And for that matter, who am I? People with glowing tattoos, never good. What the hell? So they just straight up gaslight the guy into thinking he's a zombie. Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, have awoken at last. Always knew you'd come back to us. Be it Red Moon or Black Dragon, no fiend is a match for my legendary might. Who might this fine lady be? Could she perhaps be one of my many admire? This faint tingling sensation in my arm, and ringing in my ears, this dizziness. Could it be a case? Sounds more like a stroke. Unable to accept tough to Phoenix down? You can only carry one Phoenix down? Really? Hold on. All that. Yeah. Oh, does it have to redo the whole thing? Okay, well, skip. I didn't realize you could only have one of them. A mild concussion will not sway Inspector Hildebrand from his true calling. I'm pretty sure that's more than a mild concussion. Verily, it could be naught else. Somewhere nearby, dastardly doings are afoot, and only I can thwart them. Copious quantities of sand, unbearable heat. Aha, the Singoli Desert, I'd bet my life on it. Which means Ul'dah is but a short trek away. Yes, it all fits. Only that den of iniquity could so violently trigger my keen investigator's sense. You're not law-abiding citizens. Inspector Hildebrand shall soon deliver you from evil. You might want to put some real clothes on first. Didn't know you could only have one. Does it say on there? It doesn't really say on it that you can only have one, but I guess it's fine. I don't know how he was standing up here. Can't actually stand on this. I know, I know cutscene powers. Alright, where are we going? Okay. That's the title. I wish you questioned me as to whereabouts of that deviant running around town dressed in rags. Do I look like a reporter for the Mythical Eye? Do not consort with perverts. Then why are you here? Looking for a half-naked Highlander who likes to catch criminals. I think I'd remember a thing like that. You do manage to find this inspector friend of yours. Tell him to do something about that God's damn duelist. Me mate's pa's cousin's kid's best friend lost his blade the other day to that bastard. Now you're quoting Spaceballs. What does that make us? Absolutely nothing. Oh, I love that movie. Third last, with information you want, you'd be served best by going to Wymond. The only rumors I've heard are those about the weapon thief. Calls himself a duelist, or so I hear. When you don't allow your opponents to refuse, well... Okay, that's the second time somebody's mentioned the weapon-stealing duelist. Yeah, Rodney here is definitely doing the same quest we are. I think you've dealt with that zombie problem, eh? So tell me, just why were they dressed up like dandies? The mysterious duelist. Hey, it is a mystery, I don't know. Alright, Wymond. Hey, Wymond. Yeah, that's why. Almighty, bucking me with a bleeding spear. The dead have risen, and they're walking the streets of Ul'dah. No need for melodrama, my good man. As you can see, reports of my death were greatly exaggerated. It's true, he's not a zombie. I checked. You seem to be hale and healthy, which begs the question, how in the seven hells did you survive that fall? Why question divine providence? What matters is that Azoria's champion has returned, and that he, and by that I mean I, shall bring this thieving duelist to justice. Heard about that, did you? Might be harder than you think. Even I've got no inkling of that fellow's current whereabouts. Inconceivable. I refuse to believe the ever-inquisitive, ever-ambitious, ever-reliable Wymond is without a single shred of information, even one of dubious relevance. Well, I make no promises, mind you, but there was some talk of a fair maiden, what said her most... This knave assaulted a young woman as well? The audacity! I should fly to her side at... If it isn't the lady from the Sigoli. Serendipitous encounter indeed, unless you too seek the belligerent duelist. I was looking for you, dumbass. Invigorating to engage in a friendly battle of wits. Already the spirit of competition fills me. Come, Nashu, we must away. He just runs off. Hildy, I ain't told you the lass's name yet. Why? I don't. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. Might as well go after him. He'll be disappointed if you don't. The lady in question is named Yellow Moon. She's a woman with a taste for the finer things in life. Safe to say you'll find her getting fitted for something in the Weaver's Guild most every day. Good luck with the inspecting inspector. I actually do remember her, because she's hanging out in the Weaver's Guild. That's kind of cool, too, that they just leave the NPCs that are used for quests in place and don't just make them appear for the quest. stupid auto mod. A lucky idiot. Yes. Yes, he is. Auto mod takes exception to the word idiot, which just proves that auto mod is an idiot. Oh, that right there is a good example of why Microsoft's automatic... What on earth? Microsoft's automatic censoring system that they're putting in place for Minecraft is a bad idea. Beloved Pure Heart was unlike anyone you've ever seen. Elegant, refined, the perfect accessory for any cultured woman. You will bring it back to me, won't you? Priceless possession, callously ripped from the hands of its owner. The lady weeps, and the wind bears her sorrow to his ears. What gentleman could hear this clarion call and not beg the honor of championing her cause? How did he find her? Is the real question. What in the world? Where do you hear now? I, Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinary, shall scour all creation from the deepest pit of the seven hells to the very pinnacle of the heavens for your pure heart. Just what he said. And you, my fellow servant of justice, I see your instincts are not to be underestimated, having guided you to this fair maiden's side. Now then, Miss Moon, what can you tell us of the theft? I like how she's taller than literally everyone else in this scene. Thefts, sir, to be precise. My pure heart was only the most recent item to be taken from me. I'm certain I had it when I left home the other day. After I browsed the latest fashions at Sunsilk and took a match in the Colosseum, I realized it was gone. So it's not so much that it was stolen, it's that you lost it. The time and location of the theft are unknown, essential details without which we cannot solve the case. There's one logical course of action. Miss Moon, to coax the hidden clues from your memories, we must reenact the fateful day's excursion to Sunsilk Tapestries. They are super tall, yeah. You know, why is... I don't get it. It's just like 30, like half of a sentence and then just immediately charges off. Oh, is this all your shopping or something? Like, why is this following us around? It must be, because it's in the cutscene, too. Miss Moon, would you be so kind as to describe your visit in detail the day in question? Nothing unusual happened, but if you insist, I was pondering on whether or not to purchase a new dress when a man approached me and confessed his undying love. What sort of man says that to a complete stranger, I ask you? This kind, right here. Naturally, I was taken aback. I dropped my purse in shock, not intentionally, on his foot, and he cried out in pain and fled. I may be so bold, Miss Moon, that strikes me as a most unusual happening. In any case, it appears to be completely unrelated to the theft. Let us next proceed to the Colosseum and see what you remember. Are you... It must be warm there. Alright, now we go over here. So far, this is, at least this one, is mostly just following him around. Miss, I'm trying to inspect the contents of this crate. Miss! Well, she's a cat, though. You know how cats are. Once again, Miss Moon, if you'd be so kind as to tell us what you remember. Like before, nothing unusual. Nothing unusual happened, except for this unusual thing that happened. I felt like gambling that day and was debating which match to observe when a gladiator approached me from behind and confessed his undying love. Naturally, I was taken aback. I whirled about and struck the man in the face with my purse. In shock, not intentionally. Unfortunately, since I was carrying a tremendous sum of money, my purse weighed about 6 panzas, and the blow was enough to render him unconscious. 120 panzas? Miss Moon, you're a remarkably strong woman. Precisely why you were targeted. Well, it's obvious in hindsight, the thief bore you a grudge. No more than that, he hated you with a passion. Where are you getting this from? There are a lot of giant crates in Ul'dah, at the Weaver's Guild, at Silk Tapestry, and here too. Conspicuous crates. Extremely. Aha, I'm hiding. I entertain myself. Crates are everywhere. I wonder what's inside, but I don't see how we can open. Of course, I still have plenty of explosives. Here, why don't you try it? It'll be fun. Where's he getting this from? Right out of his ass. Cool, let's blow stuff up. Wait, what did that say? Many cope with grief by taking up new pursuits, such as travel or exercise. Nashu chose to study explosives. Sure. Oh look! People. The heart of every crime rests a single unassailable truth, reached only by navigating a web of falsehoods and contradictions. Hearken to me now, for as a shepherd leads his flock, I shall guide you to my irrefutable conclusion. The gladiator professes his feelings only to be rejected and physically assaulted in response, wounding his pride as a warrior and a man. Resenting her prowess while recognizing his weakness, he carries out a more feasible vengeance. He robs Yellow Moon of her weapon, the pure heart. Inspector, we found the pure heart. These strange men sneaking around town in wooden crates had it. Not what you think. We're not thieves. We're devotees. Yellow Moon is our sun and stars. We only wish to keep her safe from harm, and should she misplace an item from time to time, we'd collect it for safekeeping, nothing untoward. You're sure you're not sniffing it and selling it on eBay? Deviants were behind all the thefts. All this time you've been stalking me. What nerve? Such unbridled fury, such righteous indignation. We should be glad to accept the goddess's punishment. Goddess devotees. Ah, but of course, that I had you inspect those crates was a stroke of genius indeed. You were posing. You didn't do anything. As I was... That's a word. A moment ago, the fiends were obviously the ones responsible for the recent rash of weapon thefts. Those thefts were carried out by a single individual, you imbecile. Yeah, probably this guy. Or girl. At least you've forgotten the culprit is a duelist. He only claims his victims' weapons after defeating them in single combat. If your powers of observation are as great as you claim, you should have deduced that those buffoons in boxes were incapable of such. I should know. I'm a reporter for the Mithril Eye. My name is Ellie. I've been investigating these incidents for weeks. Love that hat. Dr. Hildeman, gentleman investigator and agent of inquiry. I presume you're looking well for a dead man. He's still dressed like a dead man. Would you like to meet one of the duelist victims? I'll introduce you with pleasure. Be willing to share such precious information with me? Your generosity is commendable, Miss Ellie. May this mark the beginning of a long and beautiful friendship. Yes. Well, yes, very good. The name of the man is... He's already gone. Bloody hells do you think you're going? I haven't told you anything yet. See, and if we just left right now, Like, it would never get resolved. Now you see why we like these? It's definitely chaos. Having no other recourse, Ellie would instead tell you the identity of the victim. I suppose since you're the imbecile's friend, you intend to help him. Friend is a stretch. The man you want to find is an adventurer named Humphrey. At present, he can be found at the Golden Bazaar. With luck, the good inspector may find his way there by the time you arrive. If not, then so be it. Wonder what will happen when he discovers that the victim is a perpetrator as well. The friend is a word. Yeah, exactly. What the hell is a Golden Bazaar? Aha. I can't grab on. Okay. Oh. Kind of like watching a train wreck, you know, or a car crash. You want to look away, but kind of just can't. The devastation of this crash just keeps bowling over more and more school buses. Yeah, it doesn't end. Almost should have left him just thinking he was a zombie. Would have saved everyone trouble. Hi, I'm Humphrey, and you are? There he is. At last, I've caught up with you. You there, young sir. I'm told you're the victim of a marauding duelist. Well, not really. He's still got a sword. Me, a victim? Haha, how amusing. You amuse me. True, I was challenged by the duelist not long ago, but where he thought to find a whelp, found a warrior of light instead. I defended my honor and my blade. See for yourself. One? That's amazing. Nothing compared to what I faced at Cartnew. Magitech to the right of us, Magitech to the left. Stuck in the middle with Master Lou. We were. School bus is full of squeaky ducks and clowns. Oh man, you can fit a lot of clowns on a school bus. Before he was dab hand with the old magic he was, I tried to save him. Of course, there's a limit to how many giant beasties a man can... You're completely off topic. Man is no warrior of light. Tell them, Elzar. Tell them how he lost and surrendered a sword that was not his own. Liar, scoundrel, I trusted that bastard with me father's blade, bid him take it to a smithy for restoration, even gave him gil to pay for it. Then he comes crawling back sniveling and begging forgiveness for losing it in a duel. As if that's enough to set things right. Look at me, you bleeding Orson, look at me. My flowing golden locks are no more. I've gone bald from the stress and heartbreak. Sure. Toward everything holy, you'll face a reckoning if you don't bring her back to me. I'll just look at each other. Alright. He beat the shit out of me and took the old man's sword. I used the guild to play the Churgan. I have no idea where he or the sword is. What am I supposed to do, huh? I can't give him what I don't have unless you help me find the sword. That's what you do, right? Help people? Well, mostly he just runs around posing. Have you no shame? First you claim a legacy not your own, then you beg others to help you with problems of your own making. You will refuse this man, won't you, Inspector? Well, now he's definitely going to do it. And what of Elazar's flowing golden locks? How will forsaking young Humphrey help the man he has wronged? Wait, there's a kitty behind me again. Shall begin our search for the sword by questioning the people of the Golden Bazaar. Warning, there are a lot of these quests. I've heard that, and then they add more in later expansions. go all the way through to the newest expanse. Well, I'm sure we'll hit a point where we can't progress it any further for one reason or another. Antique swords? Oh, I haven't foggiest idea about that. That traveling merchant is the one you want to speak with, assuming he hasn't left. Cats. Poke Thor up. Haven't gotten to the Stormblood ones. Boy should be ashamed of himself. Robbing poor Elazar of a priceless family heirloom just goes to show you should never trust an adventurer who claims to be a warrior of light. Thieves and tricksters, the lot of them. May not be the most honorable solution, but mayhap you should consider giving Elazar a counterfeit blade. The deception brings him peace in his final days. Would it be so wrong? I mean, I've got like 100 different swords here. Only gotten to the R1s done. Elazar's sword wasn't much to look at, but at least it was authentic. More than a few collectors have been tricked into purchasing counterfeit relics. Now I have cat. You're the one who keeps coming over here and meowing at me. Cat looks unamused by your antics. Oh, Cat, he's used to this by now. What he's mad about is he's mad that he can't climb on my shoulder. Because he does wear. Not this one. This one's lazy and doesn't work. Afraid I have no knowledge of an ancient sword, at least not of one I can guarantee to be authentic. See any wares I determine to be of dubious origins, I immediately discard in the spring east of Camp Drybone. Although I have no swords for sale at present, I may have disposed of a facsimile similar in design to the one you described. This presents a quandary, though I'm loath to deceive an honorable man like Elazar. A well-intentioned ruse may put his heart at ease, thus spurring the rejuvenation of his flowing golden locks, whilst we continue to search for the genuine article. You're just obsessed with this air thing, aren't you? If there is a sword in that spring, it won't remain there for long. It's one of the more convenient sources of fresh water for the common folk in Camp Drybone. You should endeavor to be more optimistic, Miss Ellie. Like me, I say we search the spring first before declaring all to be lost. As long as you're the one going in. Because I'm pretty sure you could use a bath. Why is this fate called Deep in the Heart of Sangoli when it's in Drybone? And Sangoli is not even in this zone. Weird. Holy crap. Get out of the... It's drinking water. Occurs to me I have not yet fully recovered from my accumulated injuries. It would not be prudent to immerse my body in water. Now without first coating it with a liberal application of salamander oil, that is. Indeed, on many an occasion, my dearest mother tended my childhood scrapes just so. I think this is still technically the Sangoli Desert. Probably. You understand the importance of physical rehabilitation. Yes, then you can assist me by pouring oil all over my body. Only if I get to set you on fire afterwards. Comforting scent, as though I am a child in her arms. Quickly now, before it dries, knead the oil into my aching flesh. Yeah, only if you stop posing. The pain multiplies manifold. Gently now, gently. But harder. Oh gods, oh gods, oh gods. Yes, at last my muscles slacken and soften. The warmth spreads, and the pain becomes pleasure. Alright, time to stop. What on earth are you doing? Keep doing that, just like that. Now once more, with feeling. Never before have I received such splendid ministrations. Now then, into the spring. You as well. Yeah. Things that make you go bleh. Search the spring for anything of interest. I found a rock. Clean your tainted soul somehow. May as well look for a sword. Hey, bonus, if I find the sword, I can stab him with. Let's find out if this is sharp. I hope people filter this water before they drink it. You've been productive? Excellent. May I see what you found? Found yes, and I found yes, and I found yes. I don't think that will solve your problems. He survived free fall from space. Well, we know he was shot with a cannon, but we don't know how much oomph it had. No sign of the sword. You found a reporter. Now I'm all wet. What was that anyway? Did something cause you to... Oh look, a sword. Once again, my instincts have guided us to our quarry. That I had you search that section of the spring was a stroke of... He's allergic to water. Inspector, it's bad for your health to conduct investigations in these clothes. I'll go to Ul'dah and fight you some new ones. Thoughtful of you. While you're there, purchase a few bottles of hair tonic for Elzer as well. The newest, most potent blend you can find. Isn't that wonderful? Soon all of Elzer's woes will be no more. Yeah, except for his problem of you. This does kind of, well, at least the setup, the whole launched into space thing, kind of reminds me of the one event from, what is it, Morrowind? Where you find the guy with the super jump ring. Because you can actually see the guy fall if you're looking in the right place at the right time. The jump scroll. I thought it was a ring. But yeah, whatever it was. That's what I'm talking about. I actually played Morrowind. Where's this? Oh, must be there. I tried once, and I couldn't actually hit anything. Every time I swung at something, it just missed. I couldn't tell if it was because I was bad at swinging a sword, or if it was the game was glitching because I was all kinds of stuff to get it to work. Anyway, as promised, I return to you your father's ancient blade. This is my sword. It is her. Every chip and scratch is just as I remember. God's bless you. Grow, grow, beautiful locks. Return. Never expect you would go to such lengths for two strangers without thought of reward. Altruism is a rare trait these days. Common enough if you know where to look. A gentleman recognizes the good in every soul and understands that none deserve to be forsaken. Spoken like a true gentleman, though your garments beg to differ. Vector, I've brought you a change of clothing, also a supply of tonic from this peddler I met in Pearl Lane. Excellent work. Now, if you just bring me the case. Watch, it's one of these guys who's been bald since he was 8. What? Now Gambit's here. There appears to be something lodged in my forehead. Could it be a missive from an adoring admirer? Author neglected to pen her name. I shall come to claim the collector's blade. Is that supposed to be flattering? Guessing that's from the duelist. No, it's supposed to be intimidating. The duelist wrote this. He's daring you to stop him. This guy in the background just like... What is that face? Oh my god. He's going through the entire crate. A challenge for me. At last the curtain rises. I think he's just, you know, a little bit jealous. Very well, if I'm to duel the duelist, I must dress for the occasion. Nah, I think you should just keep wearing that. You might get some intimidation factor going on. It just stands up right in front of it. Hildebrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, accept your challenge. You don't have a sword, though. He's incredible, so bold, so majestic. Just like a warrior of light. Except that you know what his name is, so therefore he's not a warrior of light. No, a gentleman of light. What the fuck? He's exceptionally something. Yeah, see, we're on the same page here. Inspector Hildebrand, you look amazing. And you look like a hedgehog. The faces in this set of quests is so great. Hildebrand. That's pretty. That's not. That could be a good title screen. This is far from the strongest of swords. Blue skies in the rolling desert. How much longer must I seek the Blade of Legend? Okay, the Blade of Legend is in a forest, stuck into a rock, and you need like 14 hearts to be able to pull it out. That was something. That's different. What is going on? I'm confused here. Master Sword reference. Hildebrand will return in the 3 collect. Oh, it's an ad. It is like an episode, like an anime episode, where like we have the end sequence where it's like, come back next time. Hey, I know that spirit. That's the one I found buried with the pumpkins. Pumpkins sort of remind me of. Nope, it's gone. Never mind. The faces in these quests were actually animation tests for later expansions. That's one way to do it. Oh. Perchance you are curious about the duelist's declared target. It so happens I have identified the weapon in question. The Treaty Blade is part of an Ishgardian noble's collection, or was, I should say. No, it has not yet been stolen. It has been purchased by an Uldan collector, the wife of a wealthy merchant living in Vesper Bay. Suffice it to say, it would be remiss in my duties as a reporter were I to not investigate her. And should the duelist strike while I am present, well, I hope I needn't explain what a golden opportunity that would be. Ingraining myself to her may prove to be the greatest challenge, though I am told she's a difficult woman to please. Fortunately, I am also told she has a fondness for rare flowers, the sort to see in Camp Drybone cells. You can come along if you like. Here we go again. Right. Good advice. The dead feel no pain. I think we're gonna save the rest of these for later. Since that was like end of an episode, but we'll keep that there. Just I remember that it's a thing to do. But we're gonna go off and do some of the actual main quest stuff after I use the restroom. I will be right back in a little bit. Haven't met the duelist yet? Well, yeah, that's true. Part of it too is that I actually need I've only got about 20 minutes left to stream today. So we're gonna do something that a little bit less involved, I think. So we'll just work on the main quest a little bit. So caves south of Lost Hope for refugees, which is conveniently not terribly far from where I'm actually at right now. Yeah, I don't want to get involved in another story that takes, you know, an hour and a half to get through and have to end it in the middle. it was something. Plus, if we go through it all in one go, then we don't have anything for later. Where am I going? Oh, I'm going over here. Yeah. Oh. Here. Desperate refugee. Seven Hells, they found us. Everyone grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point. This is your game, is it? Sorry to disappoint you, but we were more than willing to kill you ourselves. Okay. That is not the combat button. You really can't. None of you gotten a Heavenward yet? Excited. Yeah, well, I think Kay has before, but yeah, this is my first time through the whole thing. Yeah, main account through Shadowbringers. I was pretty much a WoW player back in the day, and then I kind of got disillusioned with MMOs after WoW kind of went. And I've tried a few since then. Like I've played ESO and I've played actually played quite a lot of Neverwinter. But they didn't grab me the way that WoW did back in the day. Like not modern by any means. Modern stuff is kind of terrible. But I heard about this game when it came out. But I was just like, I never played Final Fantasy games. I never really saw the appeal. I was not a PlayStation kid. I didn't have a PlayStation. And that seemed to be where a lot of them were going. I know there's older ones that are on Nintendo, but we didn't have any of those. So, you know, you beat them like it was nothing. Oh, almighty, what are we gonna do now? Let me talk to. Remember why we're. Survivor believes other refugees will lay down their arms. They see firsthand they cannot stand against veteran warriors. Oh, okay. That's right. I remember. the idea was to just thrash them. Might miss out on some of the nice references scattered in the game. Yeah. I do want to go back and play the old ones. Just haven't found a time or a really good way to do it. Probably gonna have to set up an emulator. And my brethren, what are the twins? What happened? See, we had no choice, but better that a handful of them take a beating from you than the lot get butchered by the flames. Tell me, what did the merchant have to say when it was over? Won't be for a long time. Yeah. It's gonna be a while. Where else would he be unless he went to Stone's Throw to recruit others? Oh, more stuff. That one. Merchant wished to approach the refugees in Stone's Throw, but was waiting until the flames withdrew their forces from the vicinity. Now that they have, there's nothing to stop him from continuing his work. How many more must perish in the pursuit of this futile cause? How much more suffering must we endure before it ends? Find him, convince him to cease his mad quest. It will surely lead us to ruin. That was even further away. Yeah, I don't even have the other expansions, other than just what you get for the base with the base games. A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Word. I think Fel mentioned what server they were playing on, but I don't remember it. Being able to fly is so nice. Crystal, don't think you mentioned the server. Okay. Seen my parents? Told me to stay here with the others. They said they'd be back soon, but it's been days. They left with a man from Ul'dah. The man said they were going to change everything, make it so he could live inside the walls with everyone else. I liked it when he said that. I didn't like it when he talked about making the rich people pay. Everyone looked so angry and I got scared. You looking for someone? Yeah, we're looking for someone stirring up trouble. I left with my parents, but I don't know where he... The only issue is free company shenanigans. Oh, so far the free company hasn't really been terribly active on this server, at least. It's mostly just been individuals getting together and doing stuff. I think that's him. Well, now, which one of these gullible fools shall be my next victim? You! Shit! Run away! He's getting away. Go get him. You get enough of a following to start your own VC? Yeah. I don't know though. That would make me torn because I really like having Pom. Let's see, couldn't have gotten far. Oh, are you waiting at the train station? No trains come through? What's up, dude? She's just standing behind him. Why are you pursuing me? Sedition, treason, revolution. It's preposterous. Don't mean you stop doing stuff with the palms, just where I'm at right now. It's not a lot to do with them. Yeah, there is that. We don't really do much. But, who has filled your head with these lies? Refugees? The self-same refugees who terrorize the streets of Ul'dah? No evidence to prove your accusations. None. I mean, it doesn't matter. All I have to do is stand here and talk to you until you attack me. No, I will not accompany you to the Hall of Flames. You have no right to detain me. Sake of argument, let's say I did do the things you claim. Surely you don't think I'd give a corn's arse about politics. It was business. Only business. That makes it worse. I'm sorry. It's just so funny on her face. We both know I'm not the one you want. However, if you agree to protect me, I swear I shall tell you everything. Well, maybe you should, like, not be standing out in the open. Too late. Quick, heal him. What's all this then? 7 hills. Tell the others to spread out and search the area. The killer may still be close. It's an arrow. He's nowhere around. Yeah, exactly. A high enough level just raise him. That's actually an issue with when playing D&D. When running it or when planning stories, is that when you get to a certain point, you have to be careful, or you have to figure out ways to, if you try to do a story like this, where you have, you know, like characters who die and stuff like that, you have to figure out how to do it to where the players can't be just like, well, our cleric has raised dead, let's just Adventurer, I would know more about your relationship with the victim, as well as the events leading up to his death. Well, I found him. He ran away. I came here. He denied starting a revolution with the refugees, and then he got shot. Man was responsible for the recent riots. Mayhap we owe his murderer a debt of gratitude. Well, maybe. We're not actually sure. In any case, it's obvious you are not the one whom we seek. You may carry on with your investigation, Scion. Yeah, I don't have a bow. Now I do. I'll tell him. Alright, where are we going? Swift at the Hall of Flames. I didn't do it. You're clearly innocent. But I could have done it. It is definitely something that I missed in the more recent Elder Scrolls games, is that they don't have just completely unrelated quests. You know, everything in Elder Scrolls Online is all interconnected with each other. Whereas, like, this has, like, the Hildebrand goofiness, where it's just goofy. It has nothing to do with the main story. What news? Where's the merchant? Rotting in the sand. Murdered? Damn it all. To the 7th hell. He was not simply murdered, he was silenced. Too many knew his face, and he was ready to divulge his secrets. Do not despair, though. We may be closer to identifying the true orchestrator of these riots than you realize. Ooh, more shinies? Good shiny. What are these are really terribly good. Pick that one. Flame General left word that you were to proceed to the Fragrant Chamber as soon as you returned. He wishes to discuss your recent discoveries as well as the results of our own investigation. Already been informed, should be waiting for you outside. Proceed to the promenade with all haste to speak with whatever his name is. I actually clicked it off before I saw what the name was. Whoops. Chinese? It's there? Yeah, I thought. Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention, I've been spending my time leveling other classes that I have access to. Scholar, Bard, Black Mage, Summoner, Monk, Warrior, and then I just started working on Gladiator. Because I figured why not? Because it helps with you know, helping out if somebody wants to go do something but they need a tank or they need a healer or whatever. DPS, then I can help. Investigation says you did it. Rats foiled again. Oh no. Been expecting you. Proceed inside. And here, have this necklace while you go. Party favors.
Commander Swift has kept us apprised
Ooh, voice
of
acting.
your recent activities. You've made great strides towards quelling the violence.
Despite our best efforts to determine what provoked this uprising, the truth continues to elude us. Have you uncovered aught which might shed some light on the mystery?
This information does not leave this room. The Syndicate's decision to reject the Doman refugees' appeal for asylum had lasting repercussions. A number of those displaced by the Calamity claimed it was proof of a policy of discrimination. Together with a group of Alamegan refugees, they organized a series of demonstrations to protest against the Sultanate.
And now she's behind the turtle.
Demonstrations which became heated, but did not descend into violence.
Yeah, it doesn't take much though for
Until
heated
a certain
discussions.
incident served as a call to arms.
Get violent.
A unit of brass blades sent to supervise a demonstration loosed arrows upon unarmed protesters.
Especially when the cops just start
It
killing
was this
unarmed
atrocity
people.
which prompted the refugees to take up arms. I need not tell you what followed.
We assumed at first that the attack was born of a miscommunication. When emotions run high, they happen. But suspicions were raised regarding the unit's commanding officer, whom I ordered interrogated. Sure enough, our fears were soon confirmed. The
This is
Dog
what,
confessed that a
10 years
merchant had
old?
offered him coin to give the order. A merchant in the employ of Teleji Adeleji.
The game, like 10 years old.
Teleji Adeleji. But he spoke in favor of the Doman's cause, and has ever seemed sympathetic towards the refugees' plight. Why would he do such a thing?
Clearly he's playing both sides.
Know you of the Cartano Reclamation Bill? It is a proposal to annex the Cartano Flats so that refugees may establish permanent settlements.
When last I looked, that was disputed territory.
Aethor.
Aye. Some might even call it a battlefield. The destruction wrought by Bahamut was greatest at the Cartano Flats. That much is common knowledge.
Oh, okay.
What is less well known is that his rampage laid bare ancient Alagon ruins, of which no record existed. There are certain differences of opinion as to how these ruins should be handled, which is why each nation maintains a military presence in the region to this day. Yet differ though we may, we are still allies. Therefore, in the interest of preserving the Eorzean alliance, we have reached an agreement. Any conflict which may arise during the course of military exercises in the region shall have no bearing on relations between our nations.
Sounds like a PvP zone.
In full knowledge of this delicate state of affairs, Teleji Adeleji proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill. A shameless bloody ruse which stands to benefit him in but one conceivable way. If successful, he will gain control over the disputed territory under the guise of assisting in the resettlement effort. And you can be sure he'll build an orphanage next to every Alagon ruin.
The man would threaten the unity of the Eorzean alliance and risk countless lives for personal gain.
Yeah, he's just stirring up trouble.
He walks a path all his own, independent of any faction and beholden to none of his fellows on the Syndicate.
By inciting the less fortunate to violence, he hopes to convince others that the Cartano Reclamation Bill is the only viable solution. His sympathy for the plight of the Domans was not but posturing to gain credibility with the refugees. Of that there can be no doubt.
Forgive me, but what could possibly motivate Teleji Adeleji to go to such lengths? What is so special about these ruins that he would risk his position on the Syndicate, and, most likely, charges of treason against the Sultanate?
Power. Money.
Omega.
Pardon?
Oh, there's
Alagon
another.
monstrosity.
Yeah,
Not
course.
unlike the Ultima weapon. Mayhap larger. We know not. It has yet to be fully excavated.
That's a good idea.
Alagon inscriptions indicate that it was created to fell Bahamut himself. If accurate, it might explain why Nail Van Darnus chose to bring the Red Moon down upon the Cartano Flats. Given the ends he went to ensure Eorzea's annihilation, destroying the one weapon which could stay the Elder Primal may well have seemed like good sense.
But also just a bit of coincidence, too.
When first I bore witness to the power of the Ultima weapon, I doubted the evidence of my senses. And now you tell me there is another such weapon. One which could contend with Bahamut. Bahamut!
Aye, we were skeptical ourselves. Truth be told, until the Ultima weapon's existence came to light, we thought the inscription had been mistranslated.
At present, Omega is more akin to a fossil than a tool of war, having long since ceased to function. As such, its true potential cannot accurately be gauged.
Well, apparently Ultima wasn't functional either. They had to rebuild it.
If someone were to restore it, as the Carlians
Yeah.
did the Ultima weapon, I have little doubt that he would wield untold power.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Power enough to subjugate Uldar like as not, and the rest of Eorzea besides, which is doubtless why Teleji Adeleji yearns to have it.
Or he just wants to sell it.
But he should aspire to world domination. He who has ever walked 2 paces behind Lord Lolorito in matters of commerce.
'Tis in acknowledgement of his own limitations that he seeks this power. Woe betide us all should we allow him to have it.
Pray waste no time chasing rats. Only a fool would believe that secrets can be kept in Uldar.
It would seem the implications of the Sultanate's refugee problem are rather more far-reaching than we assumed.
Yikes. back off because I just missed that first one. I really wish it would just autoplay the text on scenes with voice acting and then not on scenes without. Whatever. How long do you think they intend to hide the existence of Omega from the Scions? That they even felt the need to do so is most troubling. It would be in our best interest to learn more of the military activities in the disputed territories. You are, of course, the Scion best suited to the task. Do take a moment to visit the Elder's Nest and make inquiries at the earliest available opportunity. What? Be gone. This is no place for children. Don't yell at the kid. Looking for you. Said you were looking for the man who left with my parents. We met briefly. Did Stone's Throw as well. I see. Did you find the man? Were my parents with him? They were not. However, I can think of several places they might be. If you like, we can go and look for them together. Really? You'll help me look? Of course, but first I must needs finish speaking with my friend. Telling me a secret, you see, and so no one's allowed to listen. Wait for me by the pillar over there. Require but a moment. Okay, I'll be waiting. Sure, I'll go wait in your unmarked van. I'll take her to the quicksand. Nobody will know what to do. Legion of Garlands, an aether-starved primal, even dealing with an Ashen would be preferable to this charade. Sometimes I fear Melifina is too ambitious. We rush hither and yon in response to threats as they arrive, without concern for the strain it places on our limited resources and ourselves. Mayhap the time has come for a change. Carnage. Well, everyone. And I know this is sudden, must ask you to return to Revenant's Toll with all due haste. The situation in the Twelves Wood has taken a turn for the worst. I will explain in detail once you arrive. Wellswood. The primal threat she spoke of before has been confirmed. I have received no reports of Ixal activity, which leaves the Sylphs. You know as well as I, the appearance of a primal takes precedent over all else. And when you arrive, do inform her that while I am grateful for her concern, she needn't fear for my safety. I am more than capable of protecting myself. Yeah, he's got a book, right? Knowledge is the best weapon. Or whatever that's supposed to be. Really doesn't look like a book to me. Okay, I think that's where we're gonna call things for today. We did a little bit of progress with some humor and did some progression in main quest. So we're gonna call things here for today. I will be back on Friday. Should be back on Friday. I don't have any reasons why I wouldn't be. Yeah, should be back on Friday. Should be back at the same time as today, around 10 my time. I will probably have more information Friday about what my new schedule is going to look like once the school year starts up, which is starting next week. Wednesday is the first day of school for the kids. So keep an eye on that. You can always follow me on Twitter. You can follow my, you can join my Discord. You can, of course, keep an eye here on Twitch to find out all about that. And if you miss any of the videos, there's always YouTube. So thank you to everybody for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I always appreciate that. I hope you have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day. And until I see you next time, I hope things go well for you. And as always, remember, don't you dare go hollow.